Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Aryna Sabalenka explains why she almost retired from tennis in 2022. It was a sign to quit. Aryna Sabalenka is the best player in the world today and maintains a healthy lead atop the world rankings. No woman has won more WTA singles titles than Sabalenka in 2025, as she took home the Brisbane International, Miami Open, and Madrid Open. She has, however, failed to get over the line at the Grand Slam events, losing 2 finals to Madison Keys, Australian Open, and Coco Gauff, French Open, and 1 semi-final to Amanda Anisimova, Wimbledon. Despite her major shortcomings, Sabalenka remains world number 1 and leads number 2 Gauff by over 4,500 points. She's top of the world right now, but that hasn't always been the case, as the Belarusian now explains why she almost retired from tennis 3 years ago. Aryna Sabalenka thought her serving struggles were a sign for her to retire in 2022. During an interview with Cosmopolitan, Sabalenka reflected on the struggles she faced in 2022 that nearly made her quit. It was such a long process. A lot of tennis is in your head. You're always talking to yourself and dealing with emotional moments, she said. We truly tried everything to fix my serve, and nothing worked. I thought maybe it was a sign to quit and do something else. Sabalenka's serve was once a point of weakness in her game, as she often offered up several double faults to her opponents. Working hard to address that area of her game, Sabalenka chose to stick with tennis, a decision that has clearly paid off. But it ended up being a turning point for me. I stayed with it, worked even harder, and mentally, I found myself. I got through by trying over and over again. I talked a lot with my team and brought new people into the team. It's very important to have the right people around you, especially during those moments. It's all about support. Fixing her serve, Sabalenka has competed in 6 Grand Slam finals since, winning 3, becoming world number 1 in the process. Sabalenka may be ranked number 1 in the world, but how does her new and improved serve compare to the rest of her WTA Tour rivals? Comparing Aryna Sabalenka's serve to the rest of the WTA Tour, there are several key metrics used to determine the quality of a player's serve, including the number of aces hit, first serve percent, and service game winning percent. Sabalenka ranks well in most key metrics in 2025, which could not be said for her 3 years ago. Aryna Sabalenka's serving stats in 2025. Aryna Sabalenka reveals the storm behind the power, why 2022 almost ended her career. In the glittering world of professional tennis, where strength is celebrated and winning is idolized, few athletes embody raw power like Aryna Sabalenka. With a ferocious serve and a presence that commands attention, the Belarusian powerhouse has bulldozed her way to the top of the sport. But behind that intimidating baseline growl lies a far more fragile truth, one that nearly led her to hang up her racket for good in 2022. Sabalenka's confession in a recent, soul-bearing interview sent shockwaves through the tennis world. There was a moment I truly believed it was a sign to quit. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't swing. Everything inside me was breaking. This is the story of the year that almost ended Aryna Sabalenka's career. A year not defined by match points and Grand Slam dreams, but by the invisible war she fought within. The year of chaos, 2022. To the outside world, 2022 began with promise for Sabalenka. She had just finished the previous season ranked number 2 in the world, her highest ranking to date. She was seen as a clear threat to Ashley Barty's dominance and a favorite to lift her first Grand Slam trophy. But the optimism quickly unraveled. Sabalenka's serve, once her deadliest weapon, became a terrifying liability. In match after match, she double faulted, sometimes more than 15 times in a single outing. Her confidence plummeted. Matches she should have won ended in bitter defeat. Whispers turned to criticism, and criticism grew into brutal headlines. Sabalenka's serve meltdown continues, from power to panic. It was like my arm didn't belong to me anymore, Sabalenka said. I would stand there, racket in hand, and not trust my own body. It was paralyzing. I felt humiliated every time I stepped on court. The yips, the mind, and the mental spiral. What she was battling wasn't merely physical. Sabalenka had fallen into a psychological trap, known widely as the yips, a sudden and inexplicable loss of ability in sports, usually triggered by stress or trauma. And in tennis, the serve is the first casualty. But the yips weren't just affecting her game. They were gnawing at her soul. Every morning I would wake up with this knot in my chest, she admitted. I'd go to training and pretend I was okay. But deep down, I was screaming. I wasn't sleeping. I was crying in hotel rooms, on flights, even after practice. I kept asking, why am I doing this to myself? The loneliness of the tour only made it worse. With war in her region, political complications, and rising tensions in the locker room due to her Belarusian nationality, Sabalenka felt isolated, alienated, and judged, not just for her performance, but for her passport. I started to feel like I didn't belong in tennis anymore, she said. I felt like a burden to my team, to the fans, to myself. It felt like maybe the universe was telling me to quit. The breaking point. Her lowest point came during the Miami Open in March 2022. After yet another early round exit, Sabalenka walked off the court not with frustration, but numbness. No tears. No rage. Just emptiness. I didn't even feel like a person anymore. Just a name on a scoreboard that kept losing. Back in her hotel room, she stared out at the city lights and thought, what if I just stopped? Would anyone really care? It wasn't just about losing, she explained. It was about losing myself. I didn't know who Aryna was without tennis, and I wasn't sure I wanted to find out. The turnaround, finding a spark in the dark. Just when it seemed like Sabalenka might walk away, she made a phone call that changed everything. To her sports psychologist, a quiet presence she had worked with off and on, but never fully committed to. I told her everything. I didn't hold back. I said, I'm done. Unless you can help me figure out who I am again, I don't want to keep doing this. What followed was months of intense internal work. Not just therapy sessions, but spiritual introspection, journal writing, meditation, and complete honesty with her team. She simplified her training, stopped obsessing over rankings, stopped chasing the approval of social media. She took breaks when she needed them, cried when she had to, and slowly, day by day, reconnected with the little girl who once fell in love with the sport in a dusty court in Minsk. I remember what it felt like to just play. She smiled. Not to win, just to hit the ball. The serve rebuilt. Technically, she rebuilt her serve with a biomechanics specialist who helped her change her toss and simplify her motion. But more than mechanics, it was trust in herself that returned. In late 2022, small wins began to appear. A few deep runs. A few comeback victories. A smile here and there on the court. Then, in 2023, it all culminated. Aryna Sabalenka won the Australian Open, her first Grand Slam. Tears flowed freely, but not just because of the trophy. It was the culmination of a war no one else saw. The victory of choosing to stay, when everything inside begged her to walk away. Lessons from the edge. Now, sitting in a post-match press room in 2025, Sabalenka speaks with clarity and strength, not just of the body, but of the spirit. I came back from hell, she says, and I don't say that lightly. I was on the edge. I looked into the void, but something inside me, something stubborn, said, not yet. She says her journey taught her more than any title. I learned that being strong doesn't mean hiding your pain. It means facing it, naming it, letting yourself feel it. That's real power. The Sabalenka legacy, bigger than tennis. Aryna Sabalenka today is more than a Grand Slam champion. She is a symbol of vulnerability, of courage, and of honesty in a sport that often hides behind perfection. She now mentors younger players, especially those struggling with mental health. She speaks publicly about anxiety, isolation, and emotional burnout. She's even launched a small foundation focused on mental wellness in sports. I want players to know, you can fall apart and still come back. You're not broken. You're human. Final rally, from quitting to championing. 2022 nearly ended Aryna Sabalenka's story, but instead, it gave her a new beginning. It stripped away the illusions, the expectations, the noise, and gave her something deeper, purpose. Not just to win, but to feel, to be. to connect. So when she says, "It was a sign to quit," she now smiles and adds, "Maybe it was. Or maybe it was a sign to pause, breathe, and rewrite my story. I'm still writing it, and this time, I'm the author."